Hello, and welcome to a brand new book review. I'm going to be discussing, you can probably tell by the title already, but we'll be discussing Stuart Turton's book called The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle. This book is very captivating. It just kind of sucks you in, and it doesn't want to let you go until you figure out exactly what happens in the next page. And I love books like that just sort of suck you in, kind of get you very, very invested in the story. And this is certainly one of those books. It's a little bit of Clue, right? It's a murder mystery. It's very familiar to Clue, but also very much like Groundhog Day. Like if Clue were to take place in the universe of Groundhog Day, that's what this book is. This guy gets stuck in this he wakes up in the woods, essentially, right? And he doesn't know where he is. He doesn't even know who he is. He's just in the woods, right? Somewhere on Earth in the woods, right? And he hears this commotion. He sees this woman run past him. So obviously there's, other people. He's not like in the middle of nowhere if somebody just ran past him. But he soon discovers that he is not himself. Literally not himself. He's a different person. Turns out this guy is stuck in a loop, and he has, it's just a continuous loop. He has to solve a murder. That's where Evelyn Hardcastle comes in. He has to solve a murder, specifically the murder of Evelyn Hardcastle, and he cannot escape this loop until he figures out who killed this woman, Evelyn Hardcastle. And he discovers that he has, eventually on in the story, he finds out there's 8 hosts that he kind of inhabits throughout. Like, he takes the point of view of 8 different guests throughout this party, and he spends one full day in each person, in each host, living through this person's day and, interacting with other guests at this party, including his past and future hosts as well, which I find to be very interesting. I personally like things like that where the same day just keeps repeating and repeating and repeating. And if he dies in one host, then it doesn't matter. He could die at 8 a.m. one day and come back as somebody else and finish out the day. I think that's how that works. But if whoever host he's in dies, obviously he can't go back to that host, or passes out or loses consciousness in some capacity. He's automatically wakes up in another body or another host, and he can't leave until he figures out who murdered this woman. And the first couple of hosts he has aren't really doing much for him. He wastes his first host figuring out who everyone is and even where he is and why he's there, because obviously he can't remember who he is, where he is, why he's even there. All he knows is that he just has to solve this mystery, this murder. And it's like, all right, well, who the hell is Evelyn Hardcastle? I guess you got to start there first. And it turns out one of the Hardcastle's children was murdered at this house 20 years before this book takes place, and the setting, that the place they are in the book, the setting of the book, is where this person was murdered. I think his name is Michael in the book, and so that's kind of like he kind of goes from there a little bit, and he has to figure out. It just takes him a while to figure out, like, to get a good grip on everything. And if he doesn't solve the murder in the given time, he has 8 hosts, so essentially 8 days to solve this murder, right? And comes down to the wire, right? It comes down to the absolute wire. He's on his last host on the last day, and he does it somehow. And it's the whole book is just, there's several twists in this book that I do not want to give away. He has setbacks and massive leaps ahead, and the way the book is written, especially kind of like toward the middle and closer to the end, in the latter half of the book, the author kind of starts jumping around from the current day. That I think the main character's name is Aiden. He jumps around from the current day that Aiden is on, and jumps back to like day 2, and then like to day 4, and then to the current day. So it is, you have to really get sucked into this book in order to really understand, because there are so many different timelines going on. Yeah, there's just one timeline, but they jump around to it, and it's shown from several different perspectives almost simultaneously. So it just kind of like gets you sucked in. It's like there's plenty of Chekhov's guns in this book, really. And literally there's like 3 literal guns that play a main part in the story, really. And it's just such a good book. The author did an amazing job of writing it. I have tremendous respect for anyone that can write a book jumping through time like that, like going back to the first day, then coming back to the current day, then to the 4th and to the 5th and all that stuff. And it's like it's confusing as all hell to do that, but it's just done so well in this book that it's amazing. It really is such a good book. I cannot recommend it enough. The cover on my copy is starting to wear out along the edges, because that is, I just couldn't put the book down. So that right there should be an indicator of the quality of the book, is how the condition of the book, to me, says a lot about the quality of the book. If it's a book that looks like it's been beaten up and read and the spine is all cracked and stuff, it's probably a extremely well-read book, in my opinion. And this was an extremely well-read and well-written book. So if you're looking for an amazing murder mystery that is freaking amazing, 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle is got to be your next read, or at least on your reading list somewhere to check out at some time, because it's you have to read it. You have to read. If you're a mystery fan, if you're a fan of like crime novels and stuff, this is the novel you got. Even if you're just interested in crime novels, not necessarily like the time traveling part, because it's a good murder mystery novel, and I would highly recommend reading it.